Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, the campaign battle continues to heat up as Vice President Harris selects a running mate. Plus, we'll also have details on a pair of deadly accidents involving pedestrians in southern Maine. And some local towns have had to find more money if they want to continue ambulance service with Northern Light Health. We'll have the details coming up. Good morning, everyone. I'm Craig Colson. Emma Smith has the day off. We thank you for joining us this morning. We'll have all the day's news coming up. But first, a check of the forecast. And today it looks like, well, a partly cloudy day ahead. Not too bad at all. We're certainly keeping our eyes on the remnants of Debbie. That storm is working its way up the east coast, and it's expected to bring more flooding as it continues its path. We'll have to wait to see what it brings to the state of Maine. We'll have more on that coming up a little later on. But first, let's check in with Devin Biggs for a look at today's forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Happy Wednesday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Comfort Shoes and More. Need the proper fit for your new summer footwear? Visit us across from Irving and Newport. Alrighty, here we go. Some areas of dense fog greeting us this morning near parts of the Waterville area and a few local spots as well. We'll lose that this morning as we do move forward, as we'll see a good amount of sunshine here across our neck of the woods. For now, we are seeing some clouds and even some rain farther down toward the south as well. We'll push that out of here, and really for the rest of the day, we will be under a partly cloudy sky. Here's a bigger picture as well. A lot of this moisture kind of feeding up from Debbie as well, which is way down toward the south right now. This moisture will be moving away from us, and of course today looking like a nice day for us across our neck of the woods. Will be partly cloudy for us today with a mostly clear sky on the way for us tonight as well. Maybe partly cloudy at times, and even for your Thursday, we'll be looking pretty good. As for the winds, not too bad. Roughly at around 5 miles per hour or so, maybe getting close to 10 miles per hour at times. Notice the winds also behaving themselves tonight, also in the parts of tomorrow. So your forecast for today, upper 70s, partly cloudy, and a southwest wind at around 5 miles per hour. Coming up for tonight, mostly clear areas of dense fog possible, lows in the lower 50s, and a light and variable wind. As we move ahead towards tomorrow, a partly cloudy sky with highs in the low 80s, and a southwest breeze at around 5 miles per hour. Hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period, a partly cloudy to even mostly sunny sky at times, with temperatures in the 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
All right, thank you, Devin. Well, Vice President Kamala Harris and her new running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, are now going on a multi-state tour. The two had their first rally together in Philadelphia last night, and the Harris-Walz campaign says it raised $20 million in the hours after Walz was announced as the pick. ABC's Perry Russum has the latest from Washington.
In front of thousands of supporters in Philadelphia, Vice President Kamala Harris, for the first time, standing side by side with her new running mate Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota.
I couldn't be prouder to be on this ticket and to help Vice President Harris become what we all know is very, very good for us to think about. Next President of the United States of America.
The 60-year-old governor spent 12 years in Congress, served in the Army National Guard, and was a high school social studies teacher, where he was the football coach. Harris says she was looking for a fighter for the middle class.
Coach Walz and I may hail from different corners of our great country, but our values are the same. And we both believe in lifting people up, not knocking them down.
Walz burst onto the national scene last month after calling Trump and Republicans just weird, a line he repeated last night.
You know it, you feel it. These guys are creepy and, yes, just weird as hell. That's what you see. That's what you see.
As governor, Walz has been a supporter of paid family leave, universal school breakfast and lunch, and abortion rights. Republicans accuse Walz of not acting fast enough to deploy the National Guard to stop violent protests in Minnesota after the death of George Floyd in 2020. At the time, Walz saying he wanted a plan for how the troops would be used. Former President Trump calls the Harris-Walz ticket the most radical left duo in American history. His running mate J.D. Vance repeating that attack.
My view on it is it just highlights how radical Kamala Harris is.
Walz on a vice presidential debate with Vance.
And I got to tell you, I can't wait to debate the guy.
The Harris-Walz ticket now goes on the road, visiting a total of 7 states this week. That includes that stop in Pennsylvania yesterday. Trump and Vance have events scheduled throughout the week. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
Well, meanwhile, political leaders in Maine are reacting to the news of Harris's VP pick. Governor Mills said in a social media post, "My friend and fellow Governor Tim Walz will make an outstanding vice president. A high-ranking military veteran, retired school teacher and football coach, and proud father, Tim is a fighter for the American people. Kamala Harris has made an excellent choice." The Maine Democratic Party said in a statement, Governor Walz is a champion for America's working families, his fellow veterans, and rural communities like the one he grew up in. As a father, former high school football coach, and educator, Governor Walz understands that there is nothing more important than building a future full of opportunities for Americans. The Maine Republican Party also responded to the news by saying Tim Walz is a far-left D.C. politician who agrees with the Biden-Harris policy agenda. So if Mainers want to keep paying higher costs for groceries and gas, then Walz is someone to get excited about. Well, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is in Maine for the next few days, touring projects that are being funded by the Biden-Harris administration's bipartisan infrastructure law. Our Augusta reporter Corey Bichard was there and has more.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg chose Maine as his 50th and last stop on his Summer of Construction tour.
It's a great honor. We're the 50th, so he saved the best for last.
Secretary Buttigieg toured 2 construction sites for bridges on Interstate 295 in Freeport. He commended the work from Maine Department of Transportation Commissioner Bruce Van Note and his team for innovative new bridge designs.
They've had to really innovate in terms of the bridge design to deal with all the road salt that you really need in order to keep the roads safe, but that was penetrating into the old design structure and accelerating the demise of the old construction.
The Summer of Construction tour touts the administration's work in passing a truly bipartisan, once-in-a-generation infrastructure law.
I don't think we've all really grasped how significant this bipartisan infrastructure bill is. It's really the biggest infrastructure investment in the U.S. since the interstate highway system.
We spent our first year as an administration just working to get this bill passed with help from the leaders you see standing next to me. And then it took a while to get the programs up and get the money moving. What I'm excited is now the dirt is flying.
Secretary Buttigieg adds another reason for the tour is to go find out from the states what work still needs to be done to make it easier to access funds.
We're very much in implementation mode. It's one thing to get the bill passed and the dollars going, but now it's about delivery. And there are a lot of challenges to that. Cost escalation, human capital, supply chains. So we're trying also just to make sure that any bottlenecks or backlogs or red tape that we can clear out of the way, that we're doing so that the dollars turn into literally concrete results as quickly as possible.
Just shows the commitment to the Secretary and the administration to actually get out, boots on the ground, and see how this bipartisan infrastructure law is translating into real improvement.
Secretary Buttigieg will spend his day on Wednesday touring an international marine terminal in Portland and a neighborhood in East Deering. In Freeport, I'm Corey Bichard for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
In other news this morning, investigators are checking into 2 deadly accidents involving pedestrians in southern Maine, including a man who was struck and killed by a vehicle in Falmouth. It happened around 3 o'clock Tuesday afternoon on the Gray Road. The body of a man was found on the side of a road, but the vehicle that struck him was nowhere in sight. Police later found the vehicle believed to have struck him in a parking lot not far from where that accident happened. They have interviewed the driver, and no charges have been filed at this point. The name of the victim also has not been released. Meanwhile, Portland police investigating the death of a man who was struck by a train last night. It happened in the area of Morrill's Corner near Morrill Street. Police say an Amtrak train was traveling from Boston to Brunswick when the unidentified man was struck. Rescuers responded to the scene a little after 8 o'clock last night, but there was nothing that could be done for the victim. The name of the pedestrian has not been released at this time. Well, some of Maine's most crucial hospitals will benefit from a $500,000 grant to help improve health care services in rural areas. The money will support critical access hospitals in quality improvement and establish or expand rural emergency medical services. Maine has 16 hospitals designated as critical access facilities around the state. Senators Angus King and Susan Collins announced the grant award. In a joint statement, they said, quote, "As one of the most rural states in the nation, Maine people already face many challenges when accessing affordable, quality health care. This grant will help our rural health care systems provide better care and work to ensure we do not lose these critical facilities and services to preventable closures." Shellfish harvesting is stopped right now along part of Maine's coast. It's all because of the rain recently fallen in the area and concerns about pollution getting into the water. Mel Meyer has more.
It's a pretty big hit.
On a day like today, Derek Devereaux says Mare Point Oyster Company could be bringing in tens of thousands of oysters, but they're not.
My job has been impacted this week because I haven't been able to handle the little baby oysters, and they are pretty finicky.
The Maine Department of Marine Resources announced the closure on Sunday.
Whenever we receive 2 inches or more of rainfall, we close the impacted area for shellfish harvesting.
The closure spans from Freeport to Harpswell and means you can't dig, take, or possess things like clams, quahogs, oysters, or mussels from the shores, flats, or waters. The concern here is for the potential fecal pollution in runoff.
We wait until that's all cleaned out to ensure that the shellfish are safe for people to eat before we reopen it.
Typically, how long do these last?
It really depends on a few factors. The larger the storm, the more potential runoff and the more potential fecal contamination there can be.
In cases like this, it's expected to be anywhere from 3 to 5 days. Right now, the department goes and runs tests to figure out when it's safe to reopen.
Which causes a delay because you have to process samples in a laboratory. There's a turnaround time on getting that.
But the department is working on reducing that time by leveraging roughly 2 decades of data and analysis to make these decisions.
Farming business and, wild harvesting businesses were kind of at the whim of Mother Nature.
So far, there's only been a few of these closures this year, which the MDMR says is slightly below average.
That was Mal Meyer reporting. More rain on the way for this weekend, it's looking like. Well, the time now is 6:12. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, Northern Light Health says some local towns will have to cough up more money if they want to maintain emergency ambulance services. We'll have the details on that. But first, another check of that weather forecast. Today, it looks like a partly cloudy day with highs near 78 degrees. Tonight, mostly clear with lows dropping down to the low 50s. Tomorrow, another partly cloudy day on the way with highs near 80 degrees. We'll be right back.
Hey, good morning, America. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
You don't just see it, you feel it.
I'm in.
I'm in. I'm in too. I am in. I'm in.
I'm in too.
I'll be here.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Harris Lumber is locally owned and has been serving the Pequot region for more than 50 years. See them for all your projects, big or small. Customer service is their #1 priority. And with a full line of lumber and hardware items, they can also deliver to your job site. Harris Lumber, Milo.
Hi, Eastern Maine. Watch Person, Place, or Thing right here on ABC 7, weekdays starting at 10 a.m.
I can't wait to get to work.
I'm so glad you said that.
Oh, let's get you ready for fall. Go, Ryan, go!
It's a big win. Let's do it.
Ryan Seacrest joins Vanna White this fall on Wheel of Fortune.
I'm ready!
Weekdays at 7 on ABC 7.
Welcome back, everyone. Several towns say the future of their partnership with Northern Light Health's medical transport is unclear, as the health system recently proposed new rates for its ambulance services. Officials from Northern Light Health say this comes as reimbursements for emergency services are at an all-time low around the nation. Our Grace Blanchard has the story.
The team at the Northern Light Health Medical Transport has a partnership with many towns in the greater Bangor area that don't have fire-based EMS services. Under the terms of the contract, towns send invoices to Northern Light for each emergency in which a first responder arrives on scene.
Up until this point, that has been relatively manageable, but since the pandemic and everything has become significantly more expensive, we have had more trouble doing that.
In June, Northern Light Health sent a notice to 7 towns, including Eddington, whose town manager shared their letter with us. In the letter, Northern Light Health requests to negotiate a new contract with a per capita fee structure that has a $17 rate, citing economic strains. According to Eddington's town manager, with a population of over 2,000 people, that would tack on at least an additional $30,000 to their budget.
It is one of the lower fees that we were able to come up with because it covered the things that we needed without causing too much of a hardship for the towns.
For towns like Dedham, the notice came 4 days into their fiscal year after they already established a budget. That's according to the Dedham fire chief. He declined to appear on camera, but says they were definitely caught off guard.
Without that financial support, we are unable to respond to the calls that you want. And we don't want to ever have a situation where somebody is sick and they are not getting the care that they need.
Northern Light says reimbursement for ambulance services are at an all-time low, which means they carry the cost of whatever insurance and patients do not pay.
We want to make sure that when you call 911, somebody is there at your door.
In Bangor, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Investors will continue to closely monitor the stock market following that massive sell-off yesterday. One local expert says it is not cause for panic. John Byrne, a financial advisor with Edward Jones, says the sell-off was triggered by concerns about general economic growth. Despite concerns, Byrne says a market correction like this is not out of the ordinary.
It is normal. On average, the S&P 500 sees 3 5% pullbacks per year and 1 10% correction per year. If we go back historically, it's during these times that it's really important as investors to stay true to our longer term strategies and try not to get too caught up in the day-to-day excitement.
Well, he agrees it's likely that the Federal Reserve will cut interest rates as soon as September, which could provide some relief to the market. All right, the time now is 6:17. Coming up after the break, we'll hear about a large shark that has been surprising people along the coast, plus the latest on the remnants of Hurricane Debbie as it continues to spur flooding as it makes a slow crawl north. There's some pictures of that shark. We'll tell you all about it as Good Morning Maine continues.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
Your favorite restaurants were half off. It's half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7. Go to foxbangor.com, click on half off dining, and start saving now.
Brackish River Bistro, sharing the Winterport Winery and Penobscot Bay Brewery building. We have an incredible breakfast menu, brunch specials, plus we're open nightly for dinner and drinks. Take the drive to Winterport and taste what the Brackish River Bistro is all about.
Great restaurants from all over Eastern Maine at half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7.
For taking on New England's extreme conditions, Toyota has more hybrid all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive models than any other brand. No wonder Toyota has sold 5 times more hybrids than its nearest competitor, like the upscale Crown Hybrid, available with a total driving range of up to 594 miles. Take on extreme conditions with Toyota's proven hybrid technology. See your New England Toyota dealer, your hybrid all-wheel drive headquarters. Toyota, let's go places.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
One of the coolest things they've ever seen. That's how some residents of Swans Island are describing the sighting of a large shark in Toothacre Cove. It happened on Swans Island on Monday. Craig Campsfield lives on the island and took this video from shore. He says the boat is 22 feet long and the shark was even bigger.
And the young ladies on the boat were trying to kind of corral it out of that bay area because unfortunately, if the tide had gone out, the shark would have been stuck and maybe even stuck on high rock, which would not have been a good thing. So they kind of tried to block it, and the shark was much bigger than the boat.
Well, no need to worry. The story does have a happy ending. After the crew threw bait in the water, the shark followed that boat out of the cove to safer waters. A similar shark was also spotted yesterday in some shallow water in Blue Hill. Witnesses believed it to be a basking shark. No danger at all, but pretty neat to see there on the Maine coast. All right, the time now is 6:20. Let's get a full look at our weather forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Comfort Shoes and More. Need the proper fit for your new summer footwear? Visit us across from Irving and Newport. Alrighty, here we go. Areas of dense fog greeting us this morning near parts of the Waterville area. Also a little bit over in parts of Washington County as well. Everyone else looking pretty good. Just some clouds greeting us this morning, and even a few rain showers along the coast too. We're pushing that out of here now. The clouds will be getting out of here too, and we'll see a good amount of sunshine today with a few passing clouds. Here's that front right about, and here's some of that moisture also coming up from Debbie as well, which is hanging over the ocean right now, causing a lot of rain along the southeastern parts of the U.S. So let's check in on Debbie right now, which right now is a tropical storm, which is tracking very slowly to the east, and I mean very slowly. It's not moving very quickly at all. Here's the latest advisory with sustained winds at 45 miles per hour. Check out the gusts. The gusty winds are up to 60 miles per hour, moving to the east at a wimpy 5 miles per hour. So it is not moving fast at all. And notice that we do have some advisories along the coast because of the system here that will be making another landfall very soon. So we'll track off towards the north, mainly staying as a tropical storm, eventually a tropical depression, then eventually a remnant low as it tracks off towards the north and east, and it will get close to us as well. We'll just get some rain and maybe some gusty winds from this system, and that'll be about all there. But in the short term, no, we'll be under a partly cloudy sky for us today, looking pretty nice out there. We'll be under a mostly clear sky overnight, maybe some areas of dense fog at times as we head towards tomorrow. Not too bad, a lot of sunshine again, maybe a few passing clouds once we head towards Thursday evening. Still not too bad. Some rain does start to approach late Thursday night into parts of Friday morning as Debbie starts to get a bit closer. So otherwise, rainfall, let's talk about that for a bit. Nothing too crazy going on until about Friday or even into parts of Saturday and Sunday. Notice I run this pretty far. And notice though, as we get this moisture from Debbie, maybe around an inch of rain possible before we're all finished up. And of course, we'll keep an eye on that. Otherwise, our average high temperature is 81 degrees. We'll do upper 70s to lower 80s today and tomorrow. Lower 70s Friday as Debbie passes through. We're back in the mid 70s Saturday, upper 70s Sunday, with middle to upper 70s again Monday and also into your Tuesday. Checking in on the dew points real quick though, and those dew points may be on the rise again with Debbie on the way, with 60 to 70 degree dew points Friday into parts of Saturday. Then we'll fall back down Sunday and also into parts of Monday. Your forecast for today, upper 70s, partly cloudy, southwest wind at around 5 miles per hour. Overnight tonight, mostly clear areas of dense fog, lows in the lower 50s and a light and variable wind. Moving ahead for tomorrow, lower 80s, partly cloudy, and a southwest wind roughly at around 5 miles per hour or so. Let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Comfort Shoes and More. Rain moves in Friday and again on Saturday. Then we dry out on Sunday. Those temperatures lower 70s Friday. We're back in the upper 70s for your Sunday.
The sea off the coast of Maine is constantly turning, like our lives the past few years. Inflation, assassination attempts, a president unfit to serve a second term, and attacks on women's reproductive freedoms.
I'm Jared Golden, and I can't tell you what's coming next. But I do know Maine does better when we have independent leaders, no matter the weather.
And that's why I do this job for you, not for any political party. I was the only Democrat to vote against trillions of dollars of President Biden's spending because I knew it would make inflation worse. Worked with the Trump administration to build a treatment center in Maine for my fellow veterans and passed a bill to lower prescription drug costs for Maine seniors. Now, I'm fighting against Biden's electric car mandate while voting to increase domestic oil and gas production. Working with Republicans to secure the border and standing with law enforcement against defunding the police.
I'm Jared Golden, and I approve this message because you deserve a congressman as independent as you.
Howdy, I'm George Whelan with Down East Direct Cremation, and this is our crew, the Apple Hill Stables Gang, and we are here to welcome you to the officially PRCA-sanctioned Apple Hill Stable Rodeo. There will be saddle and bareback riding. Barrel racing and bull riding. Calf roping and more.
That's the Apple Hill Stables PRCA Rodeo. Y'all come on down now, you hear?
The 6th Annual Charity Rodeo, September 6th, 7th, and 8th. All proceeds go to the Anna Shriners. This event has sold out in past years, so get your tickets now online at applehillstablesllc.com.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. Now to the flooding emergency. From the deep south to concerns here in the northeast. The remnants of Hurricane Debbie could unleash more than 2 feet of rain, and some fear this could be a once-in-a-thousand-year storm. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has the latest.
This morning, the center of Debbie is now off the southeast coast, where it's expected to stall, dumping another 6 to 10 inches of rain in parts of Georgia and the Carolinas. Rainfall totals of 25 inches now possible from Charleston to Raleigh. Charleston imposing a curfew through 7:30 this morning. Charleston already seeing nearly a foot of rain, with a tornado touching down north of the city.
Here in Moncks Corner, South Carolina, this Arby's was destroyed. All the furniture that was inside, tables, chairs, blown out. There is shattered glass everywhere.
Last night, a cold front triggered severe storms in New York and New Jersey ahead of Debbie's arrival later this week. New York City officials, for the first time, using a drone to transmit emergency weather alerts to residents.
Be prepared to leave your location if flooding occurs. Do not hesitate.
Back in the south, Debbie is blamed for at least 6 deaths, 5 in traffic accidents or from fallen trees. The former hurricane caused widespread damage along Florida's Gulf Coast. The state's largest insurer already requesting another 13% increase in insurance rates. Debbie also knocked out power to hundreds of thousands of customers. The Biden administration yesterday said it's investing more than $2 billion to overhaul the U.S. power grid to better handle extreme weather. Debbie is expected to creep back onshore over South Carolina tomorrow. The storm could dump 8 inches of rain as far north as New England by this weekend. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
Meanwhile, charges have now been filed in the death of a Milwaukee man restrained by hotel workers on a sidewalk. His death and video from the incident sparked weeks of protests. The family and medical examiner are calling it murder. ABC's Derek Dennis with that story.
I just want everyone to be held accountable for what they did to him.
This morning, Deasia Harmon, widow of 43-year-old Devontae Mitchell, saying she's relieved his alleged killers, 4 hotel security guards and staff, have now been charged with murder.
I'm grateful that they're charging them with something. I'm not satisfied. They should have done it a long time ago.
It was back on June 30th when Mitchell was accused of causing a disturbance inside Milwaukee's Hyatt Regency Hotel and was escorted out by security and staff, then pinned face down. The encounter caught on surveillance video.
Stay down! Please stop fighting! Please stay down!
The medical examiner ruled the cause of death a homicide due to restraint asphyxia and toxic effects of cocaine and meth.
Charge the killers! Charge the killers!
Protesters demanding charges for weeks. The family's attorney saying it took far too long.
They murdered somebody on a public sidewalk on video camera while they know that they were being video cameraed.
A statement from the hotel management, Aimbridge Hospitality, says our hearts are with Mr. Mitchell's family and loved ones, adding, we have cooperated fully with law enforcement. The hotel workers all fired, arrest warrants now issued.
We all want the same thing. We all want justice for him, but it's something that they should have done already.
And if tried and convicted, those hotel workers each face up to 15 years in prison. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
And we're learning more about that mid-air nightmare earlier this year when a door panel blew off a plane flying over Oregon. Boeing now in the spotlight during a new hearing in Washington. Crew members revealing they thought passengers had been sucked out. The captain not even aware there was a hole in the plane at the time until after landing. Transcripts from Boeing employees questioned by investigators paint a hectic and disorganized picture of Boeing and its supplier, Spirit Aerosystems, describing planes on the factory floor with defects. Boeing says it's made changes to boost safety, including a new design for the part that blew out on that Alaska Airlines flight. A final report on the door panel blowout could take 18 months in all. Well, coming up on the second half of the newscast, we'll visit a studio in Winterport where they're turning stained glass into beautiful works of art. And a special place that provides young people with fun activities in Belfast needs donations to keep its mission going. Those stories and more coming up on Good Morning Maine.
If you've been injured and think you can't afford a lawyer, think again.
You can hire Lowry & Associates, and there's no fee unless they win your case. Just call the twos.
We don't get paid unless you get paid. We call it the Lowry Guarantee.
They win or it's free. That's the Lowry Guarantee. Lowry & Associates settled my case for $400,000.
Call the twos. We win for you.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do you do? Call 222-2222.
Acadia Gem EV Rentals, the clean, all-electric, and fun way to see Bar Harbor and Acadia National Park. Gem vehicles are 100% electric, low-speed vehicles that are street legal on any paved road with a posted speed limit of 35 miles an hour or less. You will enjoy all the beauty of the island without leaving a carbon footprint. Gem rentals are available in 2, 4, and 6 passenger vehicles. Visit acadiagem.com or call 207-288-8983.
Backed by popular demand, the Lucerne Inn in Dedham presents its amazing Sunday brunch. Join us every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for a culinary experience like no other. Indulge in an exquisite selection of dishes, all while enjoying breathtaking views. Seating is limited, so reservations are recommended, but walk-ins are always welcome. The Lucerne Inn Sunday Brunch, where great food meets a spectacular view. Call today to reserve your spot. There is a store that is all about toys, where you will find that special and unique toy at Out on a Whimsy, Maine's largest toy store. A magical toy wonderland filled with fun and imagination for every child. Now with 3 locations, Belfast, Bangor, and Blue Hill.
When R&K Variety in Hamden wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. R&K Variety is more than just a convenience store, offering fresh cooked meals that don't break the bank, gasoline for your mean machines, or beer and wine so your night is fine. Stop by today.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, folks. Today is Wednesday, August 7th, 2024, and it is also National Lighthouse Day. This special holiday is held in honor of the chain of lighthouses still along the U.S. coast that continue to help people navigate through some of the harshest conditions. That's certainly the case here in Maine, where many lighthouses continue to function today. You'll soon get a chance to see them up close during Maine Open Lighthouse Day, which will be held on September 14th. It is a rare opportunity for visitors to climb inside and learn more about Maine's historic lights. All right, on this day in history, back in 1782, George Washington ordered the creation of the first U.S. military decoration, called the Badge of Military Merit. It was given to 3 Revolutionary War soldiers and is the equivalent of receiving the Purple Heart today. In 1942, Allied troops landed on Guadalcanal and captured an airfield from Japanese forces, an event that sparked a battle that lasted for 6 months. In 1959, the U.S. launched its first satellite into orbit around the Earth. Explorer 6 was an unmanned spacecraft that sent back the very first photos of the Earth from a U.S. satellite. In 1976, a French high wire artist walked 8 times across high wires stretched between the 2 World Trade Center towers, more than 1,300 feet above the ground. And in 1978, President Jimmy Carter declared a federal health emergency in Love Canal near Niagara Falls. New York authorities discovered the leakage of toxic chemicals buried beneath that community in what was the worst environmental disaster involving chemical waste in U.S. history. And finally, in 2003, actor Arnold Schwarzenegger announced he would run as a candidate for governor in California. And as we now know, he ended up winning that election as well. Today's birthdays include actress Charlize Theron, who is 49 years old today. Singer Bruce Dickinson from the band Iron Maiden is 66. And actor Wayne Knight, who is best known as Newman from Seinfeld, is 69 years old today. Happy birthday to all of them. All right, as we heard, it looks like some rain moving up into our area later on this week because of Hurricane Debbie, now Tropical Storm Debbie. In the meantime, it looks like partly cloudy skies, at least for today. Here's Devin Biggs with your forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Happy Wednesday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Comfort Shoes and More. Need the proper fit for your new summer footwear? Visit us across from Irving and Newport. Alrighty, here we go. Some areas of dense fog greeting us this morning near parts of the Waterville area and a few local spots as well. We'll lose that this morning as we do move forward, as we'll see a good amount of sunshine here across our neck of the woods. For now, we are seeing some clouds and even some rain farther down toward the south as well. We'll push that out of here, and really for the rest of the day, we will be under a partly cloudy sky. Here's a bigger picture as well. A lot of this moisture kind of feeding up from Debbie as well, which is way down toward the south right now. This moisture will be moving away from us, and of course today looking like a nice day for us across our neck of the woods. Will be partly cloudy for us today with a mostly clear sky on the way for us tonight as well. Maybe partly cloudy at times, and even for your Thursday, we'll be looking pretty good. As for the winds, not too bad. Roughly at around 5 miles per hour or so, maybe getting close to 10 miles per hour at times. Notice the winds also behaving themselves tonight, also in the parts of tomorrow. So your forecast for today, upper 70s, partly cloudy, and a southwest wind at around 5 miles per hour. Coming up for tonight, mostly clear areas of dense fog possible, lows in the lower 50s, and a light and variable wind. As we move ahead towards tomorrow, a partly cloudy sky with highs in the low 80s, and a southwest breeze at around 5 miles per hour. Hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period, a partly cloudy to even mostly sunny sky at times, with temperatures in the 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
All right, thank you, Devin. Along the water in Winterport is a brand new tranquil art-filled studio, an art studio called the Glass Feather. It's where stained glass is carefully cut and shaped into beautiful pieces of art that can brighten any room or someone's day. Jody Hersey takes us there.
I was very lucky when I took my first class that I knew this is what I wanted to do with the rest of my life.
Heather Burgess is a stained glass artist. She's been working with glass for a decade. Now she has her own studio in Winterport called the Glass Feather.
We do anything from a small sun catcher to a big window piece. Me personally, I do earrings, I do panel work.
Burgess teaches different stained glass classes to the public.
I offer 3 different types of classes. I have a 2.5, a 4-hour, and a 5-hour class. For beginners, you don't need any prior knowledge to take my class. When you take them, you learn everything from A to Z.
She often reminds participants how fragile glass can be.
Don't ever get attached to a certain piece of glass when you're making something. It will break no matter what if you get too attached.
Linda Gardner of Hamden has attended 2 of Burgess's classes.
Oh my gosh, this space is incredible. I mean, the light and the river view is just beautiful. And I love being here.
Burgess says a lot of the pieces that she and others make can be for pure enjoyment or given as gifts.
And that's the key, is if it brings you happiness on the inside, then that's worth making.
The Glass Feather is open Fridays, Saturdays, and Mondays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. To learn more, you can visit theglassfeathercove.com. In Winterport, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
So neat. Well, still to come here this morning, Tyler Cruz with all the day sports news. Don't go away.
When outdoors, some people like it hot and some people like it cold. However, when indoors, most people like it comfortably warm. Choose a Boderas boiler from McCusick Petroleum Company to provide you with comfortable and efficient heat. They also offer sales and service on many brands of furnaces, boilers, and water heaters. McCusick Petroleum Company delivers oil and LP gas to homes and businesses throughout the Pequot region. If you'd like more information on pricing or service, call or stop by our office in Dover Foxcroft.
After an accident, the insurance company often wants to rush you into accepting their fair offer. Don't sign away your rights.
I didn't trust the insurance company.
They were wanting to settle fast and cheap. How much is your case worth? It's probably worth more than you've been told. I called Joe.
I found out what my case was really worth.
Say yes to maximum compensation, to everything you deserve. Call the firm that has been getting justice for Mainers for 50 years.
Tell them you mean business.
Hotels and welfare for illegal immigrants on our dime. Washington liberal policies opened our border and ended Remain in Mexico. And Congressman Jared Golden stood by, blocking common sense solutions. Worse, Golden voted to give amnesty to millions, yet opposed more Border Patrol resources. Now our communities are flooded with illegal immigrants, and Mainers are paying the price. Tell Congressman Golden illegal immigration is costing our communities too much. Reinstate Remain in Mexico.
The Carolina Panthers take on the New England Patriots in preseason football this Thursday at 7 on ABC 7.
Find half-off deals today and save money by going to foxbangor.com.
Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. Training camp is rolling along for Maine football. They are just about 3 weeks out from their first game, and one of the top stories of camp has been the ongoing quarterback competition. Jack Webb has more.
Competition is heating up at Maine football preseason camp. As players battle for starting positions all across the board, perhaps the most intense of those battles is in the quarterback room.
High competition, but just take it a day at a time, and you want to support each other throughout this because at the end of the day, you're on the same team.
After Derek Robertson jumped ship in December, Maine brought in transfer Carter Peavy from Mercer to compete alongside Anthony Harris and Caden Drezick for the starting spot.
They've really all prepared really well, and those are all really consistent guys.
Peavy and Harris are both upperclassmen with very different experiences that give them their own unique advantage. For Peavy, he transferred from Mercer University, where he threw for 21 touchdowns and almost 4,000 yards, while rushing for 16 touchdowns and 543 yards during his 4-year career in his home state of Georgia.
The snaps under the belt, just recognition, big games, couple playoff games, that always helps experience-wise.
Carter's obviously been there, done that, played college football at a high level down at Mercer, and you could see that there's times where he's very poised. He understands when to tuck the ball and run, understands how to go through the progression.
On the flip side, this will be Harris's senior year in the program, and with what he lacks in game experience, he makes up for with program experience. Through his 4 years at Maine, his deeply rooted bonds are what give him an edge in the competition.
Just building those relationships and stuff definitely goes a long way. I mean, knowing everybody in the locker room and knowing the playbook and stuff, I mean, it really helps when you have a grasp on everything. I've been with Ant his whole time here, so there's a great connection between me and him and an understanding of what we're trying to accomplish.
Quarterback is the most important position in team sports, so to try to get a full evaluation, coaches are simulating every situation they can.
We're going through it all, right? They're putting in third down, red zone, normal downs, putting in every single aspect of our offense in terms of different schemes that each of them are running.
With their first game just over 3 weeks away, the Maine staff said they'd like to make a decision sooner rather than later. Reporting from Orono, Jack Webb, ABC 7, Fox 22 Sports.
Thanks for that, Jack. We'll have updates on that competition as they come. Let's stay on the football field now. More drama from Pat's camp. This one, the good kind. The Patriots have been rumored as one of the top landing spots for star wide receiver Brandon Ayuk. Reports out of San Francisco say the 49ers star has requested a trade. That was a while ago and will not practice without a new contract. But on Monday night, it was reported that San Fran has come to terms on trades with both the Patriots and the Cleveland Browns, and Ayuk has permission to negotiate a contract extension with either team and ultimately decide his landing spot. He would be the perfect piece to build around for rookie Drake May. Here's what Gerard Mayo had to say about the situation.
Now, from Elliott and my perspective, we're always trying to get better, no matter what position we're talking about, no matter how those guys get here, whether it's through cuts or through trades or whatever, we're always looking to improve our team and win now.
Let's go to the baseball diamond now. Junior Legion tourney rolling along, semifinal round on Tuesday evening from Mansfield Stadium. First game of the day is the Old Town Orono Twins and the Down East Captains. Captains would strike first in this one. Brody Robertson on third for Chaz Willie, and Willie lines one into the outfield for a base hit. That's going to make it 1-0 Down East. Same inning here, it's Max Worcester at the dish. He rips one into left field. Willie hustling around. He beats a really good throw here from the left fielder. 2-0 Captains to start. Back and forth to start two. Owen Wilson at the dish for the Twins with Caleb Tidwell on, and he rips one into left, and the Twins are on the board. Still close to start the sixth, but the Twins would have a big inning. Tidwell up with the bases loaded, skies one over everyone in left field. That's going to bring in 2 runs, part of a 6-run sixth inning. The Twins win it 12-5. And the final game of the evening, the Trenton Acadians looking to stay unbeaten, taking on the Gray Warriors. First inning, Colin Sullivan up with Evan Haskell at third. He grounds to short, and he is going to beat this throw at first base. It's an infield single and an RBI. 3-0 now, looking to add, but Seth Espling slams the door on the rally with a strikeout to end the frame. 2 runners on now for Trenton. Dawson Curtis up. He lines one into the outfield. Look at Zach Torrey hustling hard into third base here. A nice relay, but it gets away from the third baseman, and he is rewarded with a run. Acadians would go up 6-0, but the Warriors would fight back. Gavin Deemer, with the bases loaded, shoots one up the middle. That brings in a run. They would get to within 2 to make it 6-4, but some good relief pitching would keep them there. The Acadians advance to the finals unbeaten with a 10-4 win. And that is all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Why should your new floor come from Carpet One? Because we're passionate about the spaces our neighbors call home. We're part of your community, and we're also part of the world's largest cooperative of independently owned and operated flooring stores. So you can be sure you'll get great selection and outstanding value with every installation. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, tile, or luxury vinyl, our experts take the guesswork out of choosing the right floor. We're your local Carpet One Floor and Home, the one store for your perfect floor.
Angler's Restaurant with 2 locations in Newport and Searsport. Open daily from 11 to 8. We are your home for fresh seafood. Our specialty is scallops, lobster, fish and chips, and of course, lobster rolls. Now, if seafood is not your preference, we offer fan favorites like cheeseburgers and chicken tenders. Stop by for the atmosphere and stay for the incredible dining experience. Anglers, Maine's family seafood restaurant.
Welcome to 207 Collectibles, your ultimate destination for all things collectible and gaming, where every dream comes true and a little magic is always in stock. Whether you're looking for vintage video consoles or games, Pokemon, D&D, Magic cards, NASCAR collectibles, board games, or even Funkos, we've got it all. Come visit 207 Collectibles. Your collection is our passion.
WVII is a federal program that provides women, infants, and children with an abundance of services and programs. And yesterday, Maine families and public health nurses gathered to help celebrate WVII's 50th anniversary. The event was held inside the Bangor Public Health and Community Services building at 103 Texas Avenue. It included face painting, a raffle, and tables full of information about available programs and services. WVII's Penobscot and Piscataquis County Director says yesterday was an opportunity to raise awareness about a valuable resource here in the community.
I think it's important to know so that families are wrapped with services they need and that we are a resource for the community and families.
To learn more about WVII services, you can visit our website, foxbangor.com. On August 6, 1945, the U.S. dropped the world's first deployed atomic bomb over the Japanese city of Hiroshima. 3 days later, a second bomb dropped on Nagasaki. The 2 blasts killed an estimated 120,000 people, and tens of thousands more died from radiation exposure. Nearly 80 years later, many gathered in Bangor to remember and recognize the lasting impacts. The Peace and Justice Center of Eastern Maine, an organization that aims to bring together peace groups, organized a Hiroshima Day gathering at Pierce Park. Their ceremony included speeches, musical, and personal reflections from those who remember the bombings or who have family connections to those events.
It felt so good to have people here who brought stories and personal experiences.
She needs 1,000 cranes to protect her from her pains.
Hopefully people, and young people especially, will find another path. There is another path, and it's about choosing to live in peace.
Organizers say as they reflect on the bombings, they are hopeful for a future in which the use of all nuclear weapons is abolished. To learn more about the Peace and Justice Center and their efforts, once again, you can visit our website, foxbangor.com. The Game Loft in Belfast has served as a place of peace for Waldo County young people for 26 years now. But now the nonprofit is looking to the public for help keeping their doors open. Our Doug Banks has their story.
On the other side of this weathered green door on Main Street in Belfast, there's a sanctuary.
It's a space open to all.
Filled with hundreds of non-electronic games and a functioning kitchen, the Game Loft has been a home away from home in Waldo County for over 26 years.
These youth have a place to come out of their shell. It's just a great thing to see happen.
In June of 2023, founders Ray and Patricia Estabrook announced their retirement. The past 6 months have been challenging, according to Maine Youth Alliance Board Treasurer Mark Bergelin. The board oversees the Game Loft and Mount View School System program, I Know ME.
Realizing the amount of things that Ray and Patricia had and what they had done for the organization was very difficult to put on paper.
The Estabrooks officially retired last month, and with unexpected expenses, van repairs, and executive director leaving within 90 days, the board turned to the nonprofit fundraising platform Give Butter, asking for $75,000 in donations.
It's not something that we wanted to have to do. As soon as we kind of rang the bell of we need support, support started to pour in for us.
The walls of the Game Loft are a reflection of the youth's imagination, and while the nonprofit begins a new chapter, it's their imagination that will carry them forward.
That's the whole reason why we're here, is for them.
The Game Loft will be hosting an event in the fall. To learn more, or if you'd like to donate to the nonprofit, visit our website, foxbangor.com.
And now for actually moving on now, 2 different professional development organizations decided to merge their events at the Civic Center and to expand the learning possibilities there. The Maine Department of Education Annual Summit and the Maine Volunteer Leadership Conference are sharing the Augusta Civic Center this week. The summit, which is in its 3rd year, is a networking and continuing education event for educators in the state with over 1,000 attendees. The Volunteer Leadership Conference is for people in Maine, organizations who manage the volunteer workforce in Maine. Representatives from both events say it only made sense to combine the conferences.
Schools and school districts are some of the biggest users of volunteers in the state.
It takes a village, right? When it comes to education, it takes a village. So making sure we can connect volunteers with our communities, with our schools. Schools have varying needs depending on the community. So making sure that volunteers are available to support our educators, to support our school staff, and making sure that those supports are then in place for the entire community was something that we really intentionally looked at.
It gives us an opportunity to be seen in their audience, which is huge, and bring our audience in contact with those folks, bringing the community and the schools together in a different way.
And the Maine Department of Education Annual Summit will run through Thursday of this week. All right, now it's time for a final check of that forecast. Let's check in with Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Comfort Shoes and More. Need the proper fit for your new summer footwear? Visit us across from Irving and Newport. Alrighty, here we go. Areas of dense fog greeting us this morning near parts of the Waterville area. Also a little bit over in parts of Washington County as well. Everyone else looking pretty good. Just some clouds greeting us this morning, and even a few rain showers along the coast too. We're pushing that out of here now. The clouds will be getting out of here too, and we'll see a good amount of sunshine today with a few passing clouds. Here's that front right about, and here's some of that moisture also coming up from Debbie as well, which is hanging over the ocean right now, causing a lot of rain along the southeastern parts of the U.S. So let's check in on Debbie right now, which right now is a tropical storm, which is tracking very slowly to the east, and I mean very slowly. It's not moving very quickly at all. Here's the latest advisory with sustained winds at 45 miles per hour. Check out the gusts. The gusty winds are up to 60 miles per hour, moving to the east at a wimpy 5 miles per hour. So it is not moving fast at all. And notice that we do have some advisories along the coast because of the system here that will be making another landfall very soon. So we'll track off towards the north, mainly staying as a tropical storm, eventually a tropical depression, then eventually a remnant low as it tracks off towards the north and east, and it will get close to us as well. We'll just get some rain and maybe some gusty winds from this system, and that'll be about all there. But in the short term, no, we'll be under a partly cloudy sky for us today, looking pretty nice out there. We'll be under a mostly clear sky overnight, maybe some areas of dense fog at times as we head towards tomorrow. Not too bad, a lot of sunshine again, maybe a few passing clouds once we head towards Thursday evening. Still not too bad. Some rain does start to approach late Thursday night into parts of Friday morning as Debbie starts to get a bit closer. So otherwise, rainfall, let's talk about that for a bit. Nothing too crazy going on until about Friday or even into parts of Saturday and Sunday. Notice I run this pretty far. And notice though, as we get this moisture from Debbie, maybe around an inch of rain possible before we're all finished up. And of course, we'll keep an eye on that. Otherwise, our average high temperature is 81 degrees. We'll do upper 70s 70s to lower 80s today and tomorrow. Lower 70s Friday as Debbie passes through. We're back in the mid 70s Saturday, upper 70s Sunday, with middle to upper 70s again Monday and also into your Tuesday. Checking out on the dew points real quick though, and those dew points may be on the rise again with Debbie on the way, with 60 to 70 degree dew points Friday and the parts of Saturday. Then we'll fall back down Sunday and also in the parts of Monday. Your forecast for today, upper 70s, partly cloudy, southwest wind at around 5 miles per hour. Overnight tonight, mostly clear areas of dense fog, lows in the lower 50s and a light and variable wind. Moving ahead for tomorrow, lower 80s, partly cloudy, and a southwest wind roughly at around 5 miles per hour or so. Let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Comfort Shoes and More. Rain moves in Friday and again on Saturday. Then we dry out on Sunday. Those temperatures lower 70s Friday. We're back in the upper 70s for your Sunday.
Welcome to the Orono Arcade, your local, affordable destination. We want to provide you with the best experience we can without costing a small fortune. Our ever-popular 9-hole blacklight mini golf course is a huge attraction. Plus, we have the best arcade video games to choose from, including both modern and retro games. The Orono Arcade is an ideal birthday party destination. You bring the cake, we'll provide the entertainment. Call us today to schedule your birthday party event.
There are plenty of good reasons to have a dock at your camp or lakefront home, and to choose a ShoreMaster Premium Dock System or Floating Poly Dock System from Hammond Lumber Company. Lightweight and durable, ShoreMaster high-grade aluminum docks are easy to install and maintain, and poly docks are perfect for dealing with deep or fluctuating water levels. Both offer a wide range of available configurations. There's a ShoreMaster or a poly dock system that's right for you, and you'll find it at Hammond Lumber Company.
New car, new house, new motorcycle. Come on down, Howard Insurance.
Howard Insurance Agency has the privilege of 150 years in the business and represents several companies for your insurance. With local offices in Dover, Foxcroft, Dexter, and Newport, we are happy to help with your home, auto, commercial insurance, and more. Call us today for a free quote and see how much we can save you, or go to our website. When Rowell's Garage in Dover Foxcroft wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. Rowell's Garage has been serving customers in the greater Dover Foxcroft region since 1946. Our goal is not just selling you a vehicle, but also giving you quality service to maintain your vehicle at peak performance.
The vibe in the house is skeeny.
Here we go again. Target's on my back.
Tonight went absolutely not how anybody was expecting.
We're villains.
Well, finally this hour, a class that offers peace and the opportunity to make a forever friend. Since 2019, the Laughing Frog Yoga Studio in Los Angeles has offered puppy yoga to students, and it's about more than just having a ball with an actual downward dog. These pups are available for adoption as well. What a neat thing they're doing there. That's it for now, folks. We'll continue to broadcast on Fox 22. Have a great day.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Whether you have a $15,000 fender bender or a surgery case worth $1 million, call the Twos.
I walked away from my car accident with minor injuries, but I called the Twos and they still got me $23,000.
I needed multiple surgeries after my accident with a big truck. I called the Twos, and Lowry and Associates got me $700,000.
Big cases and small, we handle them all. Call us. We win for you.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do you do? Call 222-2222.
Going in and helping people, that doesn't feel like a job.
If you have a caring heart, you want to make a difference, this is what you do.
It gives you the chance to be in a setting that's professional, that's meaningful, that's purposeful.
I was a waitress for a long time, and now I don't think I'd go back.
This doesn't even have to be a 9 to 5.
That's satisfaction
from doing the work is the most rewarding part of the job for me.
Embrace the journey, where each moment turns into a cherished memory. Ensuring life's journey and experiences along the way. AAA, we're always with you.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Good morning, America. Overnight, the
From Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, the campaign battle continues to heat up as Vice President Harris selects a running mate. Plus, we'll also have details on a pair of deadly accidents involving pedestrians in southern Maine. And some local towns will have to find more money if they want to continue ambulance service with Northern Light Health. We'll have that story as well. Good morning, everyone. I'm Craig Colson. We thank you for joining us this morning. Emma Smith has the day off today. We'll have all the day's news coming up in just a few moments, but check of the forecast is kicking things off today. Pretty important forecast, too. We're keeping a close eye on the remnants of Hurricane Debbie as it continues to work its way up the east coast. It could bring some substantial rain to Maine later on this week. In the meantime, though, it looks like kind of quiet weather. For more on what we can expect, let's